Maybe you can turn me on. You put your loving on me, baby. Huh? I love it. Jack Harlow first. Oh no, Whips. You can whip your loving on me. Oh, we're recording, love. Sorry, darling. Just kidding. Hi, girls, gays and nays.
Welcome to Tucked and Talking,
the podcast where we talk absolute shite.
because we love the sound of our own voices.
Cheers to the final episode of February.
Woo! Episode 5,
Cheers.
season 2.
Woo-hoo. Okay, this episode is all about drag queens, mental health, the stigmas that may surround us within our careers. Isn't that right, ladies?
Oh,
Yes,
fuck
love.
yeah.
Yes, love.
Yes, love.
Now, okay, I'm going to start off the board here.
Okay, you go for it.
I'll go for it. So, for me anyway, I know that there are stigmas surrounding your name or places that you may have worked at, which then causes you to feel like excluded from certain places, or you may even feel like you can't approach certain queens because they may be rivals of the company that you work for already, and that it makes you feel shite. Not gonna lie.
I mean, you do get looked down at in like for working for certain venues as well. Like people who have a thing against a specific venue will look down at you, and not just queens as well. Like people out in the scene who don't like a certain venue, and I've worked in venues where they don't like this venue, and I've worked in other venues where they don't like that one, and they look down at you for working in it, and you're like,
Amen.
oh, shut the fuck up.
But on that note, like, you always used to say to me, like, come out. Like, and I used to be like, no, like, I don't want to.
Never.
And I used to feel so insecure because I felt like if I went out, I'd get prejudiced.
As well,
guys,
the main company you work for is a company that's like away from the scene, like geographically as well.
Yeah, it can have a huge impact.
So it's got a massive impact.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, we always say, like, you know, there's queens who work for you who start off with you, which is completely different to people like when I started and then I did a few shifts for you every now and again.
Is the thing, like,
it's completely different to the way that queens who start working in drag, who work for you, compared to people who start working in drag who then work for you.
Well, this is the thing, like, I was never on the scene. I was never with, say, you girls. I was never in that environment, and I was only brought up by one thing, which then led everyone associating me to one thing. Yes. And I've now managed to break that. Well, in my eyes, break that like your own queen. Yeah.
It's batshit crazy, though, because, you know, people, like, especially in like the gay community and drag and stuff, like, you know, there's a stigma around the brunch queens, as it were.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh, why the fuck, like, people go, oh, she's a brunch queen, oh, she's a this queen, because she's working with like straight women, this, that, and the other. Fuck that.
Does it matter?
It doesn't matter, babe.
Does it matter?
A, it's all drag, and B, you're getting fucking paid.
But at the end of the day, right, as well, drag is theatre and it's art. Theatre is open for everyone. It's not open to one community or one group of people. If we exclude, like, we're always saying as a community, we want to be included, but we're the first to shut people out.
Yeah, and well, if you wanted to be included, you could have wore a wig.
That is a fucking wig, babe. She's got a cat on her head.
I'm only kidding. You look gorgeous.
That's good. That was
what is it?
That was quick
have you watched Cats versus Dogs? You like pussy galore on your head?
Pussy galore. Cost me 35 quid from fucking Christmas market. It's not even a real fur.
Oh, girl, get yourself a Brenda wig. It's not much more than that.
And they're good quality too. They'll last you.
What, Brenda wigs?
Have you guys ever felt like that at all? Like, you know, say either your name has been associated with somewhere, or you've even felt like excluded from an entire
area. It does, like, especially when you first start working, you usually start working for like one venue.
Yes, this is what I was going to say.
It's quite like basically, like, if you're a queen that's come on because you've got something like singing, then you're fine. But if you don't, you get stuck with one venue. And it's a great thing, but then people look at you and go and they associate you with that venue.
Yeah.
And then other venues look at it and go,
it sometimes feels awkward if you're offered a gig
something else
elsewhere on a different day to when you're like a regular at whatever bar you started in.
100%.
When you first start, it's hard to go on to the next place.
Yeah, because
you know.
other venue, like say for example, a venue opposite or a venue down the road or whatever, will look at you and go, "Well, you're the queen that works there. Why would we have you?"
But this is really interesting saying that, right?
When you remember you're a freelance performer, fuck off.
When I went through a really difficult time and I left drag for quite a while, I got offered a gig from a bar. And it was a DJ gig, and I, from all the bars in Liverpool, I did not expect it, but it felt like an olive branch, and it felt like olive. Yeah, what did I say? Olive, an olive branch. But that made me then feel like, okay, why can't I go into town? Why can't I go and enjoy myself as not just a drag queen, but just as an individual? I think
as well, like looking on the scene as well, there's a lot of bars that get really like arsey when you work for another venue, and I'm quite lucky that I work at a venue that isn't like that. Like it's a really inclusive venue. They look after the staff. They're really nice and supportive, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Like Social Icon Navy, obviously they work under the Navy Bar Company. They work. They're really well at supporting all the queens, the performers,
100%.
bar staff, the customers,
but other
everything.
Queens too, because every time, like I've said this to you before, every time we come in. You know, I know you work here.
You come into Social, you come into Icon, you come into Navy, and you're welcome with open arms.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And it's not even just with people who work on the scene, drag queens and stuff. It's customers. The amount of times, like where I'm like DJing on a Saturday in Icon, the amount of times where I have customers or like queens or even just customers come up to me and go, like, we had one the other night and they were visiting and they were like, this was like the best place we've ever been. We feel so included. We feel so happy. We feel like this is great. And they were in there the whole night from the open until the fucking close.
Yeah.
They were in there because we're like, this is great. We've got great music, great vibes. The staff are amazing. The queens are amazing.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. All that shit. But, you know, it's quite rare that you find places where, you know, venues can be arsey, and then you get a stigma around working in that venue. And like we've all seen it, bitch. We've seen venues where like queens have been stuck in that venue and they can't get out of that fucking rut. Like we were discussing as well, like you're getting stuck in ruts.
I feel like when
if you play your cards wrong, you're fucked.
Yeah, I feel like when I first started, I found it really hard to work in multiple places.
Yes.
And then I took myself away a little bit and worked with Funny Boys predominantly for a while, mainly just to grow because I was a new queen and I feel like Funny Boys is a really good place to grow and learn who you are as a drag queen because there's so many things you do at Funny Boys.
And you did grow a lot and I saw that
and then I brought myself back to the scene and like found it much easier to negotiate with bars and I mean, I don't work loads, but like I've got good connections.
At the end of the day, everything you do as a queen builds you as your person. At the end of the day, we're all freelance performers.
Yeah.
We're all freelance queens.
We're not tied to anyone.
We're not tied.
Unless there's a contract.
Signed your name.
Yeah.
Girl, no one's tied to shit, but you've got, excuse me, I'm frogging my throat. You've got to look at, oh no, ow, that hurt you, cunt. You've got to look at where's supporting you and where's helping you. Because at the end of it, it's where I actually discuss this with people as well. There's places where if they're not supporting you with other venues, like at the end of the day, if you're in a bar on, say, a Wednesday night, and then you're in another bar on a Thursday night, those people who come in that Thursday night to that bar and haven't been to that bar you've been on a Wednesday, come in, see you and go, oh, this queen's camp, she's fun. Let's follow her on social media.
Yeah.
Where is she next? And it doesn't matter where you work, even if it's a different fucking city.
To everywhere.
Yeah, but look at example, you go to Manchester and Liverpool are quite like people they'll go to both, who live in both. They'll go, well, you know, quite a lot of queens work in both Manchester and Liverpool. Yeah. Well, oh, fuck it, I'm going to Manchester this weekend. And let's see where this Liverpool queen is, and it's vice versa.
Yeah.
So if you know, for example, if I'm working a different bar and someone's like a fan of me, which is very fucking rare, and I'm working in a bar in Manchester, they will go, oh, you know, I'm in Manchester this weekend, and I fancy going for a drink. Where's Jen?
Yeah.
But I feel like as well, like all of this, you know, it ties into one thing, and that's mental health. And within the LGBTQ plus community, mental health is such a shocking factor because we don't address it. We don't. And there are so many things that do hinder us with coming out, experience our own sexualities, performing as drag queens specifically as well. That that's coming out again in a way to most people. Like you are, showing the world a whole different side of you. Which
coming out to my mum as gay and was much less scary to coming out
as a drag queen. Oh God, yeah, and I think we can all agree on that. But that's the thing, like within our community, we've got to find places that can bring all of that beautifulness together. And on that note, obviously, this is being beautifulness. This is being released now, but before, a couple of weeks earlier, we actually did an event, all three of us together, to bring communities and Liverpool together. Absolutely. And that was with Sahir House to test and make sure that, in essence, testing isn't a drag.
Yeah.
That we don't have to be afraid to come together or speak our mind. We can do it together.
100%. We actually did that in here.
We did it in here. And that's another thing that not only Social are doing, but you've got the Navy Bar, you've got Social, you've got other venues across the Northern Quarter that are all pulling together to create a unison.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, there's a divide.
At the end of the day, like, if you look at gay bars were set up for safe spaces for the LGBT community, people who don't fit into places, and a lot of certain venues haven't necessarily looked don't look
through
at
that.
No, they look past it now. They look, it's a business opportunity. I got dragged to ink by a friend. And I felt very, very out of place in there. But you spend the whole time I was like, fuck it, I need to get bevies. And I was there with a drink, and you just feel like I just watch everything. You're just always going like this, people looking at me, do I feel weird? But then when I go to places like Icon on a day off, or very rarely I get a Friday off, and Navy's open, I fucking love Navy. It's one of my favourite bars to go to. But obviously I always work on Friday, but I rarely get a Friday off. And when I go in, I always go to Navy because I'm like, it's my type of music.
Yeah.
And then I go in and it's just like, there's no care in the world. I'm not looking around me, I'm not looking over my shoulder. And they're just like, I'm having a good time. I look at it next and go, I've not had to look over my shoulder. I've not had to do this because I've actually really thoroughly enjoyed myself, and it's very rare you can have a night out that you've actually truly enjoyed yourself because you've not felt self-conscious, you've not felt like people are looking at you, you're not feeling stigmatised.
Yeah. Do you know, there is one thing I will say on that, obviously. I mean, I know, especially within, say, straight town of Liverpool, it is extremely uncomfortable to go out, but my friendship group are predominantly straight. They, myself, I am one of those people that I prefer an R&B night. I do prefer to go to those types of clubs that do play that, and they are predominantly within straight town. But I will say this one thing: my friendship group in particular have been incredible with showing support. Like they will always stick up for me, and that's the thing as well. And that's what brings it all back. I think we've got to make sure that we're the ones that are bringing that support.
I think one of the big things as well is we overthink as an LGBT person. Yeah. You overthink it. You go into gay town, into straight town, or like a straight bar, whatever, straight nightclub, and you're not. No one's fucking looking at you.
No, they're not.
Shit.
They're not.
I learned this when I was in France. Believe it or not. Yes, I was in France, and I went to the club, and I was wearing something a bit more flamboyant than normal. I had people coming up to me going, "You're obviously, oh my god, you're fucking amazing. You look stunning, blah blah blah." And I was like, okay, because normally before that I'd go to straight bars. In my head I'm going, people are looking at me. They're not fucking looking at me. No one gives a shit. No. But in your head you are, and it sort of clicked with me. I was like, no one actually gives a shit.
No.
Yeah. No one gives a flying fuck. But it's in our head. But we go into safe spaces where we are now, Icon Social, you've got Boudoir, you've got MG, you've got Kitties, you've got all of them, and you go into them and you feel safer.
Yeah, something I do want to say, you did to quickly touch upon, you said about the security, and I've got to say, since starting working in the gay scene as a drag queen, or even when I was a go-go boy, the security in the gay scene is incredible. All the bouncers are
incredible.
So fabulous.
Better than straight town.
I've made friends with all the bouncers.
And the fact that they're not
so great.
They're not gay or LGBTQ+.
They just
but they respect us. They
so
understand.
fun. You go out and this is the thing like
I always get involved.
Yeah, but this is the thing, you go out for like a ciggy or they'll come in and they'll stand in there. You can have a bit of banter with them.
God, yes, you can.
Especially when you work, like when you're working in the venues. You get to know them well.
It's so fun.
But that makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Like, because the first thing you see when you go into the club isn't the queens, it's the bouncers.
Yeah.
They're the first ones. They're your first impression of a place. And when that bouncer is friendly to you, is encouraging you to go in and have a good time and be who you are, that makes the experience so much more enjoyable.
100%. There's 2 bouncers I've worked with for years. It worked for Navy Bar. And it's Foxy and Paul and
icons.
Fucking like they've worked on the scene for fucking like ever. In several different bars on the gay scene, and they're both straight, but they'll just chat to you for about ages. You'll end up like you'll go out for a fag and then half an hour later you're like shitting hell, fucking hell. It's like fucking.
It's been an hour.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
and they
so
just get
funny.
it like they're so shady.
Do you know
they're shadier than the queens?
They need to put a wig and a fucking heel on, babes.
So there's a bouncer we have at Funny Boys. You will know him, Jay. And I must say, Jay, you are one of the best bouncers I've ever met in my life, because every time I see him, he'll always go, "You look fucking amazing."
Yeah, he does.
He always bigs us up. He always protects us. He makes sure. But the thing is, as well, he protects every single person that is in that venue. He is watching constantly, and I appreciate that so much.
You see, I love that because, like, I love it. Like, if I've ever got a problem, it's quite often, like a straight man will come in and make a group of straight women feel uncomfortable. And I can clock everything. You can clock everything with a
You
can clock fucking everything. And I'll see it and I'll just drop a text to my manager or something and just say, can you just send one of the bouncers down? I think, something's going on. And all you have to do is give them a little and then they watch everything. As soon as something goes on, they're out. And before anything can happen, whereas I've been in Straight Town and I remember it was a long time ago, it was in Concert Square. I love all the bars at Concert Square, don't get me wrong, but I do not like the security there. And I remember I was outside having a fag somewhere and I literally watched them batter the shit out of this lad. And I was like, right, fair enough, it might have caused some problems. But I was like, what
you need to do is get him away.
No, but that's what they hadn't done. So what that? And then these other 3 other bouncers from different bars came over, and I was literally watching them hurl abuse at him, going, "You little fucking shit, you fucking this, that, and the other." And then they started battering him. I was like, your job is to like get rid of them out of the venue, make sure everyone in there is safe, all your staff are safe. They're gone. He wasn't causing any trouble. They got rid of him, but then they just started kicking the shit out of him. No, you're fucking done.
The queens run the roost.
But that's the thing, it's like as well, you look at like in the gay venues, a lot of the venues, not all of them, but a lot of them are queens who are DJing and they can see everything from the box. Bitch, I see so much shit from the DJ box and I'd be like, nah. And this is the thing, you message the bouncers, or even like, you just give a little nod to the fucking bar staff and you'd be like,
I just go.
And the next thing you know, that person who's causing trouble is out so swiftly, no one even fucking notices.
So I thing to remember from all of that and to take away is to be respectful, to remember that you do belong, and no matter how excluded you feel or how shit you feel potentially about yourself, you are always welcome in our venues, and with us you will always have a home.
Yeah, and follow us all on social media and you'll find out where we are. We'll always look out for you. And even if you just want a little chat with us all,
we'll always be here.
We're here. And it's the same with especially, I know the manager here at like Navy Bar and Social and stuff, Jess, she works a lot with Senior House at LGBT Foundation, a lot of mental health charities. We're all trained, we know who to talk to, who to point you in the right direction.
Someone that is aiming to make a
So if
change.
there's ever a problem, we just want a little fucking chat, do you know what I mean? Like, come and see any of the staff, drop us a message on Instagram, on our socials, come and see us and we'll help you as much as we fucking can.
Absolutely.
So on that note, here's to loving yourself and loving the community around you.
Oh, fucking cheers.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, see you next month. Bye.
Take it out, she loves me, you're a twat, I remember that.
I saved it! Yes, I wasn't saying anything.